Hi folks, I'm Sheila and welcome to Counsellor Convos. Let's get stuck in. Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Counsellor Convos, and today I am delighted to be joined with Wendy Hill. Hello Wendy.
Hey Sheila, how are you?
Wow, I am good. And if I wasn't good, I'd say so too.
Good for you.
Absolutely.
Good to know.
For any new listeners, so I'm Sheila. I'm a registered mental health counsellor, backgrounds in comedy, and just love having the chat. Wendy, feel free to introduce yourself in whatever way you're comfortable to do so.
Thanks, Sheila. So we know each other. We've had lots of chats, haven't we?
Yes.
So my name is Wendy Hill. I'm a nutritional therapist, which is slightly different to a nutritionist. I just want to put that out there now. So my company is Hill Start Nutrition. But as a nutritional therapist, I look at the whole person. And food is always important. A nutritionist will always look at food, but I also look at kind of your overall health. I can do testing as well, so advanced testing, but I'm really looking at making you the best version of you that you can be with a combination of food. So diet, supplements, maybe some testing, but also lifestyle as well, which I think is where we kind of sit quite nicely together. It is, you know, you could have the most perfect diet, but if other things in your life aren't aligned, then yes, it's better than having a terrible diet, but actually on its own, it is not going to, support long-term health and well-being. And that's what I'm always about.
Wow, Wendy, it's lovely. It's almost like that you look at the holistic picture rather than just focusing on the nutrition. The nutrition is very important, but it's only a part of the whole person, which is so true. Wendy, how come you got into this line of work, if you don't mind sharing that?
Well, that's a bit of a convoluted thing. So I spent 27 years, my first 27 years of working in the building trade, would you believe? And it was a family business. And when I exited that, I always like cooking. I've always been interested in food. And in the building trade, you tend to see very healthy people and very unhealthy people. And sometimes it can be that they were very healthy when they were younger and then they suddenly become 40 and a walking heart attack. And I'm not pointing any fingers at any men that I know, but it seems to be a bit of a theme. And I was always
women too.
Yeah, it is women too, but that was my history, was seeing it in men. And I was always really interested in how, like, understanding the science behind that, because I knew that there had to be a connection. I knew that some people are better, some people aren't. What's the connection? And so when I exited that business, I decided to do a nutrition course while I was thinking about what I was going to do with my life. And I'm very much a read the headlines kind of person. And so I signed up for a 3-year course, which had a biomedicine foundation year, so that I couldn't even look at nutrition before I understood the mechanics, the biomedicine mechanics behind a human being and how they work. Right from first lesson was cytology. So I learned things like endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi, all these words that I'm like, what?
I tell you what, Wendy, let's pause there. Okay. If most of the listeners are like me, the last 60 seconds you've gone, what are those words?
What? Exactly.
I think you may need to explain all the biomedics. Wendy, so you've lost me already.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, bless you. So I was trying to do it as a whistle stop to do it. So basically, Sheila, what I'm trying to say is I signed up for a course that was far more involved and far more biology and human biology than I realised.
Okay.
Loved it, but I didn't realise what I signed myself up for, is the honest answer. Where by the time I'd finished the course, I had created a new passion for nutrition. Wow. But I actually just did it. I thought, I'll do this as a bit of something interesting to do without really looking into the I's and the T's of it, and just went, that sounds interesting. It's a few weekends a month, I'll do that. And it was just so much more scientific than I expected.
So Wendy, are you saying that it started off, that the study you were doing was literally the mechanics of the body and how the body works?
How the body works.
And when you went on that journey, you were like, this is fascinating.
Exactly.
I want to know more.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Sheila. That was a good way of putting that.
Okay. I like to simplify things.
Yeah.
Well, it
But
does
yeah,
sound interesting, absolutely. Because if you think about it, it relates to everyone listening, you and me. Our body is the most important thing. So to
exactly.
actually understand how it works and how to get the most out of it. And as you said, Wendy, it's so true that when you look at these builders, you're looking at some people were healthy, some people were unhealthy, some people might have started off healthy and become unhealthy. What's gone on there? Obviously,
Yeah.
there's other factors, but initially learning about the mechanics of the body.
Yeah.
Out of interest, Wendy, what kind of stood out to you then about the actual mechanics of the body that you were like, wow, that's fascinating stuff?
I think for me, the thing that is still fascinates me and is still most important is how everything is interconnected, but we can bring it back to basics. So I can take it to real science, super science, do loads of testing and stuff, and ultimately it comes back to some really simple things like, are you sleeping well?
Mm,
Are you eating a healthy, balanced diet? And we can go into that if you want to a bit more. Have
yeah,
you got too much stress in your life? How are you managing stress? And are you moving your body? And it is those simple things. And you can complicate it as much as you like, but every conversation I have ends up coming back to those simple things that if they're not sorted in inverted commas,
yeah.
then it doesn't, you can do all the testing in the world, you can do all the supplementation in the world, it doesn't matter what else, medication, if those basics aren't covered, those are the fundamentals that we need to think about every single day. And it's simple, it always comes back to the really simple things. I've just done myself out of a few years worth of clients, but there you go.
Wendy, I love that. I love keeping things simple. And later, I just wrote down what you're saying: sleep, stress, movement, eating well.
Yeah, yeah,
And when we look at mental health, it's like for myself that when I do an assessment, I'm not just asking people about their mental health. I'm asking about do they exercise, I'm asking about nutrition, do they have any concerns about nutrition, because it's the whole holistic thing.
yeah.
I think the sleep is a massive one here, Wendy. A massive. I mean, they're all going to be factors that are going to affect. They're all very important. If we simplify it down to those four factors: the sleep, the stress, the movement, to eating well. I would say in my own practice, the main issue is sleep with people.
Yeah, I would agree actually. Even as a nutritionist, I would agree that if sleep isn't sorted, you don't have the headspace for anything else. You can have the desire
Yeah,
to eat a healthy diet, but if you are exhausted because you're not sleeping, if you're not, our body clears down, it regenerates, it does so much overnight, lays down long-term memory overnight. If you don't have good quality sleep, then everything else is going to give. And yes,
yeah.
eating better can help you sleep better. Getting exercise can help you sleep better. But ultimately, that is the key thing is getting some good
And
quality sleep.
absolutely. And Wendy, in thinking about the sleep and eating pattern and eating well, is there a cut-off time that you believe that for the body, when you think about the mechanics of the body, is there a cut-off time where you think that people really, if they can, to not eat after a certain time to get a better sleep?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always say a minimum of 2 hours before bed.
Okay.
Um, a minimum because
Yeah.
your body temperature, your core body temperature increases when you are digesting food, and when you want to sleep, your body temperature drops slightly. I mean, we're talking like tiny, tiny drops, but
Okay.
but it's a change. And also, you want that food out of the digestive system before you're trying to sleep. So yeah,
Mm.
at least 2 hours before. And by food, I mean anything. We're not this, and this is a common, I won't say misconception, but it's like we fool ourselves into saying, well, actually, I had some nuts or I had a milky drink. That's food. Your body doesn't, your gut doesn't go, oh, well, it was only a few nuts. That's all right. I don't have to digest that.
Yeah.
It's food. So
And
it's
if you
no
have a
food.
few drinks while you're cutting your
Oh, my
food,
Lord.
well, good luck with that.
And we're all human.
Yes.
This is an ideal, but
Yeah.
if you can do it, 14 days out of 18 days, then you're going to be better, aren't you? It's not.
Wendy, wasn't there something I have in my head, the 80% rule? I don't know why that's just come into my head. Is there something about it if you're making healthy choices 80% of the time and 20%, okay, maybe not so good, that's something that is enough, or is that just an old wives' tale?
I don't know. I use it a lot with clients because I think it's something that we can hold on to and
Yeah.
it kind of feels real. And you go, right, okay, I can do that. If it's not all of the time, I can do it. I don't think there's any science behind it, but it is definitely
Yeah.
something that I use with clients because I talk about it as like almost crowding out. So if 80% of what you do is super healthy, then that 20%, whatever it might be, doesn't really matter. It's not having a huge impact. Whereas the less that balance is, the more the
Yeah.
unhealthy things are becoming an impact on you. And it's, when you break it down into, meals in the week, for
Mhm.
example. So if you eat 3 meals a day and there are 7 days in the week, that's 21 meals.
Yes.
So actually, that's only 4 meals that you could have that were in brackets unhealthy or less healthy. You soon start to go, oh, hold on a minute, or four, I don't know, or 4 unhealthy snacks or whatever it might be. If it's a 7 day week, then you're talking really one day of
Yeah.
drinking. Suddenly you go, actually, I'm not actually doing the 80/20 rule. I say that to myself. In reality, I'm probably doing lots of people I see are like more like 60/40.
Okay. And then they're probably wondering why they're not getting the results
Yeah.
that they want. Oh, but so Wendy, so going back then, so yourself getting into this, learning the mechanics of the body, that was just amazing. Then that kind of led into the nutrition. So where did you go from there?
Yeah, so the course that I did was, like I said, it was 2 parts. So you had to learn the mechanics to be able to do the nutrition. So it was a 2-year nutritional therapy. It's naturopathic nutritional therapy. More big word, Sheila. I'm sorry.
Ah, you've lost me again. Sorry. Ben, can you just bleep that out? Any big
Leave it
word.
out.
But I'm
Don't
going
need
for
them.
a nap. I'm going for a nap. No, I'm not. No, that's fine. I'll ask if I don't understand. I might just let it go over my head.
Let that one go. Let that one go.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's what over the shoulder. So that was the course, and then really from there, I set up as a practitioner, and I've loved it ever since. And I love group. I do quite a few group programs. That's where I really find joy. I work with clients one to one, but I do a program called the 28-day transformation program, and I absolutely love it because I take a group of people for 28 days and we look at what you're eating. I give them diet plans, food plans, and some education and coaching. And the results that we see from that, including stuff that you will love, like mental health, improved sleep, reduction in aches and pains, less headaches, less migraines, all of these things that people don't necessarily, they probably come on because they want to lose a bit of weight. Most people do it for that, but actually the nobody at the end of it has gone, oh, the best thing that happened to me during those 28 days is I've lost some weight. There's always another reason. There's a
Yeah.
more important reason. They feel better as a result of doing it, and that's what I love. That's what really brings me joy.
I think as well as that, Wendy, I think, for some people, they lose weight because they think they should lose weight.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And do you know what? I've
Yeah.
seen that. I might get into trouble saying the next bit, but I like to be honest here that I've seen plenty of people that they've gone away and they've lost loads of weight. In my opinion, they've lost too much
Too
weight
much.
and they
Yeah.
look very gaunt, very skinny. And I love my voluptuous body and how I kind of maintain it is I do calorie counting myself because I think there's a level. I can't think, okay, Sheila, I like having my Sheila's wheels, as I like to call my love handles. They have extra insulation in the winter time. It comes in handy. But I do have a level where I think, okay, if I'm becoming really obese, it's like, Sheila, we're pulling this back. But I just think kind of with my own self working in mental health, there is far too much emphasis on being skinny and
Yeah.
thin, and I get the healthy side of things, but you know something, there there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. And when I look back in my life, and I've been through so many different slimming clubs, and I've got down to target weight because I'm very motivated. If I put my mind down to something, I can make it happen. And I've never stayed there because, to be honest with you, Wendy, I've never wanted to stay there. I like the balance where I do enjoy my food. If I had to stay at those target weights, I wouldn't get to have the same pleasure of food at all, and I'm out.
Yeah.
It's getting that balance. So it's just wonderful when you're saying about that whole holistic thing, that it's not just about the losing weight, that people, they just want to feel better and they want to
Yeah.
feel energy. Do you find that, Wendy?
100%, and that's why my transformation program is, I don't market it as a weight loss program because I'm very anti weight loss programs.
Okay.
Because if the reason you were signed up for a program is to lose weight, when you've lost weight, you stop doing the program, what have you gained? Nothing at all. And so this is why it becomes that cycle. Whereas if the target of the program is to give you more energy, give you better sleep, make you have, feel better, reduce your migraines, whatever it might be, improve your skin, then that's a long-term thing. You don't want energy for 2 weeks. You want energy for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so you will take on the learning process. You will take on that education that I'm going to give you to say, I want to be better nourished. Whereas weight loss programs are just about restriction. And I'm like you, I love my food. People are always surprised by how much I eat and what I eat. Like, I go to lots of meetings and people don't want to sit by me if food's being served. They're like, oh, I don't want to sit next to Wendy. I'm like, I'm not the food police. And then I'll go on holiday with people and they'll say, well, you do eat quite a lot, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I do. The difference is I don't really snack, but I eat big meals. So I don't need to snack because I've fueled myself when I've sat down to have a meal. And I also kind of eat a balanced plate of food. So I'm always thinking, actually, what have I got from that? Yes, I want it to taste amazing, but am I getting enough protein? Is there some fat in there? Am I getting some fiber? Is there some, fruit, vegetables, whatever it might be? I'm always thinking that. So I'll often add things to a plate of food. Whereas, let's be honest, Slimming World or Weight Watchers or any weight loss plan, it's all about taking things off that plate. And I'm like, put more on that plate so that you're fueled. Food should be joy. My greatest memories are around food.
Yeah, absolutely, Wendy. That's so important. It's interesting. You mentioned the word education as part of your program. And isn't it interesting? Like, I look back in school and I would have done home economics. It would have been
Yeah.
known at the time. And to be fair, I didn't really take much notice of it. Now, to be fair, the reason why I didn't is because for me, I just saw cooking as something that women had to do and they had to provide for the men. So I was always caught up with this kind of, it kind of put me off it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because of what I'd seen in my environment when I was a young girl, 3 older brothers, and the girl having to do all the
Yeah.
cooking, it was like, I'm out again. I'm out. I don't
Yeah.
like inequality. And but isn't it interesting? So that's my reasons. Other people will have other reasons if they didn't engage as to why they didn't engage. But now it's like, I crave that education. I crave that
Yeah.
knowledge. For you, Wendy, is there any kind of common things, or not mistakes, but just common misconceptions that you come across with people and what they know about food already?
Oh God, where do we start?
Yeah.
Okay, let's think about this pregnant. So I think a common one is around fasting and restriction. So,
Ah,
I don't eat till lunchtime, or I don't eat till 11 because that's the only way that I can keep my weight down, is generally the whole
okay.
sentence.
Yeah.
But actually, then you're talking about, well, actually, how are you fueling yourself when you break your fast, whatever time you break your fast? How are you fueling yourself? How are you fueling yourself for the rest of the day? What are you consuming throughout the day? And I think so that for me, that's a misconception. I'm definitely a fan, particularly for women, but I'm definitely a fan of eating earlier in the day, breaking your fast earlier in the day, because when do you need that? Food is fuel. We turn food into energy. Energy isn't made, it's converted. So we are converting it from something. So when do you need that energy? Do you need to not eat till 12 and then have a really big meal in the afternoon? Well, not unless you're working a night shift, you don't. You're actually working during the day. So you need that physical energy during the day. So for me, eating earlier sets us in a better kind of balance, that you're fueling. Your body's not in this starvation mode of like, when am I going to eat again? When am I going to eat again? So that's a common thing that I talk to people around that. Is it, are you robbing Peter to pay Paul? Is it actually working for you? And realistically, is it working for you? Because often the people that I talk to, they're like, well, I want to lose weight, or I've got no energy. And I'm like, well, it's not working then, is it? You're saying this is why you're doing it, but it's not working. And I think the other one is around the checking out from the self-responsibility, and I'm going to be a bit harsh here.
Go for it, just about being honest, and people don't have to agree with what we're saying.
No,
Just
exactly.
people can agree to disagree. It's all about having different opinions here.
Yeah, but I think it's about passing that responsibility on. So we're passing it on to a supplement or a shake or something like this, passing it on. And actually, take responsibility for this one beautiful body that you get, because you don't get another. And so, yes, cooking can be time consuming. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. And if you're not a good cook, then it might mean that it takes longer to start with, but it gets easier and it gets quicker, and you learn shortcuts. But at the end of the day, you only get one body.
Yeah.
And it's not going to last forever. And if you don't take care of it, then I heard a terrible statistic the other day that the average American, although they have one of the longest life expectancies, the average American lives for 12 and a half years in ill health.
Wow.
And that's the average.
Okay.
Now that's a scary thought, isn't it? And if the answer to that is spending a little time each day preparing food that is fuel. People have nice cars, nice houses that they look after. If you had a lovely car, if you spent thousands of pounds on a new car, you probably wash it, you keep the inside clean, you put nice fuel into it. This one body has to get you around all day, every day, and we don't look after ourselves in the same way, and we deserve that. And I find it frustrating and sad when people don't give themselves the time or the fuel that they need, that they deserve.
Wow, Wendy, you've really hit on something which is really linked to mental health here, and especially that last word that you said, that they deserve.
Yeah.
And, it's always the safest way if I use myself as my own examples, because I don't mind sharing stuff to do with myself. But I definitely would have been one of those people where I would have treated my body like shite. And I also know that would have been a bit of a coping mechanism, a weird coping mechanism in my 20s, that almost like I felt like I couldn't take it out on other people, or I felt like I couldn't blame other people. So therefore I would take it out on me. So this whole thing of your body being your temple, when I was younger, that saying was not able to land with me when I was younger, because I felt I was a bad person. I felt it was all my fault, stuff like that. So you're absolutely right when you say it's very sad. From a mental health point of view, I can totally understand why people do it. And that's where the physical health and the mental health can get very complicated here. That I love working with clients around kind of issues to do with eating, probably because I've dealt with that so much myself all my life. And to really to get past, usually it's nothing to do with the eating. There's some other reason as to why they're overeating or they're self-sabotaging or stuff like that. And so it is such a minefield here that if people aren't implementing those good habits, there is something dark and deep going on in a deep-rooted level. You must come across that.
100%. And that I'm not qualified. I have got some basic coaching qualification, but exactly. And that's the thing, is that's what nutritional therapy teaches us and tells us, is that you will need to use and talk to other practitioners, because there are some things that you can't do. And you are 100% right, is if there's a barrier, if I can see that there's a barrier there, over there, it might be, whatever they're saying, you can see that it's like, there's no self-worth there. It's a lack of self-worth, the lack of deserving. And to break through that requires a professional to do that. I can give them all the education on what a balance plate might look like, how to eat better. But if there's a barrier there, then that isn't within my remit, and you need multiple disciplines. And that's I think one of the sadnesses in life is that we don't have a joined up healthcare system where this is more available. You know, we should have access to different practitioners that can support us through life with what we need at the time to make us the best version that we can, the healthiest, best version. And it would reduce costs in the long term with the NHS, because people would be more in tune with their bodies, more understanding, more aware. But we don't, unfortunately.
And I suppose, Wendy, it's for somebody in that situation, it's how to make the NHS work for you. So, for example, you can go to a doctor, you can say about your concerns about nutrition and stuff. You can ask to maybe speak to a dietitian, or, you know, like, and then maybe from the mental health side of point of view, put yourself on a list, maybe to get some talking therapy. So it's almost like, how can you make it work for you? It's just so interesting, Wendy, that as I think about it now, you know, the whole emphasis on our body, that our body is the most important thing. And it's almost like that when I think about it now, and I think about the media, and I think about growing up, that there really isn't enough emphasis on that. And I've often felt that in some ways society can be a bit toxic, because it almost only kind of tends to focus on when you're in crisis, rather than the prevention point of view, rather than, you know, again, your body being a temple. Like I said, for me as a young person, that wouldn't have come into it. Yeah, there's other reasons, you know, for that. But actually, isn't it like when we just simplify it? Again, love simplifying things. Our body, everybody listening to this, you and me, Wendy, that's the most important. Once our body is gone, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a saying that I'm not gonna quote it very well, but it's like when you're in good health, anything is possible. When you have poor health, the only thing you can focus on is your health. And it's I've kind of mixed. I'm sure I've mixed it a bit, but you get what I'm coming from. Yeah, it's, you know, so if you're healthy, you don't even think about it. But when you're not, and you're right, it's the education, it's the understanding. It's where does it start, and how do we get that into kind of everyday practice? Like, you go back to that home economics thing, and I hear you. You know, I didn't want to cook. Well, we baked, and I don't like sweet things, so I remember baking cakes and things. And I don't think I've baked a cake since then, but I like to cook. I like to create meals. But it is that, like, that wasn't teaching us about nutrition. That wasn't teaching us things that are useful in our future lives, in real life. You know, budgeting would have been much more useful. You know, learning about nutrition would have been more useful. And it's where does that start? And it's very easy to beat someone up over things that they do or don't do, but actually that's not helping them. It has to be a giving of knowledge, doesn't it? Those of us that know, to be able to give our knowledge in whatever way, shape or form we can to help each other.
Absolutely, Wendy. I totally agree with that. And what I would say to people, if people listen to this and they're struggling with the mental health side of things and the self-worth, I would really encourage them to challenge why they're taking it out on themselves. Especially because most people, if they're struggling with their mental health, it can be to do with outside factors, bullying, abuse, other stuff, trauma that might have gone on in their lives that was nothing to do with them. I would encourage them to think about, if it's nothing to do with you, why are you taking it out on you?
Yeah.
So then going back then to the physical side of healthy eating, we were looking at, as you say, kind of the misconceptions, the restriction, the responsibility. Let's look at how we can actually help ourselves. So we've established, for you and me, Wendy, of our time, there was kind of a lack of that kind of the approach, the educational approach. Because I think I remember a chart and fruit and veg and stuff like that. But I think for me, if you didn't explain why this is good for me,
Yes.
I kind of switched off. If you're just telling me what to do, well, nobody likes being told what to do. So let's imagine here that people listening to this are taking responsibility, that they actually do want to help themselves. Where do you start? Nutrition. Let's say somebody blank canvas, just yes, they can go on your program, but let's imagine that they don't have the finances for that for the moment, and we just kind of want to share some helpful, healthy stuff.
Cool, I can do that, and I love
Yeah.
doing that. So
Yeah.
I would say my answer to this is every time you sit down to eat, I want you, and eating. So the first thing is I want you to put it on a plate. Whenever you eat something, put it on a plate.
Okay.
Because then it's food, isn't it? If you pick it up and eat it, you don't always have that same relationship with it. So put it on a plate,
Yeah.
and then it's actually a meal. It's a meal, it's on a plate. So that's the first thing. So you've got your plate of whatever it might be, and we'll do a bit of an example, but I'll tell you the 4 things you need to have. So you need 4 things on your plate for it to be classed as a healthy meal. This is easy.
Okay.
So the first thing is protein.
Can you tell I'm taking notes as you're
Yeah,
saying?
you write this down.
I'm here to learn. Okay, right, okay.
So the first thing is protein. Now, the
Yeah.
reason we need protein, and we all harp on about protein, is protein is the start of every single cell in your body. So think about it as the building blocks. You don't make anything if you don't have protein. It's as simple as that. So that's why nutritionists bang on about protein. It's been in the news. Like last year was the protein year. So protein. Now, by protein, what do you think? If I say protein, what do you think?
I'm thinking of eggs. I'm thinking of meat. Fish is fish protein.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah.
And then for the vegetarians and the vegans out there, we're thinking about also things like lentils, chickpeas will have protein in them. Beans will have some protein in them. It's harder to get protein from plant sources, but it is still absolutely possible. So all of the nuts, they will all have some protein in them. The second thing I want you to put on your plate is colour.
Okay.
So some colour. So plants have, particularly fruits and vegetables, have amazing what they're called phytonutrients, little teeny nutrients. Think about this. If we're thinking about our home ec day, Sheila, think about this as like baking a cake. And you can bake a cake with no cinnamon, no vanilla, and it's a cake, but it doesn't really taste like much, does it? No.
I'm not feeling it, Wendy.
No, not feeling it. And so think about it as those little teeny ingredients that make things better. So they make life a little bit better. So they're full of these little tiny, tiny ingredients that our body needs to perform amazingly well. So colour on your plate. They're also full of fibre. So we all know the adage, how many fruits and vegetables should we have a day?
Well, if we listen to the media, it's 5.
It's 5. Okay. So Wendy wants you to get at least 7 because I want you to get one of every colour. So one of every colour. So that's red, orange, yellow. I've got to remember green.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing. Because I'd Alison on here talking about mood and food. And I had to listen to it before our podcast. Someone recommended 10. And I was like,
oh, yeah, 10's great. But exactly.
But Wendy, that's a good compromise.
One of every colour. One of every colour.
Brilliant.
Will do. So there you go.
Okay.
One of every colour. And you get both. So on a plate of food, if you get 2 colours, you get a Wendy bonus point. So 2 colours, you get a Wendy bonus point.
What do I get for a Wendy bonus point?
Oh, just kudos. That's it. You just go, oh, look at me. I've got a Wendy bonus point. That's it.
Oh, do I get a bar of chocolate for that?
Thanks for your help, Sheila.
No problem. I'm really helping this along, aren't I, Wendy? I'm not to sabotage. You can imagine what I was like in class.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Right, good stuff. So colour. So we're talking about our fruit and veg.
Fruit and veg, yeah. Third thing is fibre.
Okay.
Okay, fibre. So not carbohydrate, which we've got, oh, what about carbohydrate? So fibre. So we're thinking whole grains. So and whole food. So anything that you need to chew has got fibre in it. That's the way to just think about fibre. So you could get like things like broccoli and cauliflower and carrots full of fibre. You need to chew them quite a lot.
Okay.
Nuts full of fibre. Whole grains full of fibre. White plastic bread from the supermarket, no fibre, because you don't need to chew that. That would just kind of like mush up into nothing. So
How
not
about
fibre.
a wholemeal brown bread?
Yeah, cool. That's fibre.
Oh, Wendy, thank God for
There
that.
you go. See? And if you've got nuts and seeds in it as well, even better.
Okay, do I get Wendy bonus
Bonus points.
points?
You do, yeah.
Okay, I'm still wanting something for my bonus points. Okay.
I'm going to
Okay.
send you a little certificate.
Okay. Yay! I've gone back to my inner child. Yay, that'll do. And a star. Can I have a
And
gold star on
a
it?
star, little star on your forehead.
Thank you. Okay.
And the
Right.
fourth and final thing on your plate is some healthy fat.
Okay.
Now, with fat,
Chocolate.
pardon?
Chocolate?
No, Sheila, that's sugar. That's not even bad fat. It's just sugar. It's sugar. So we're thinking olive oil,
Okay.
avocado, nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds of basically any nutrition question you ask me, the answer is green leafy vegetables and nuts and seeds.
Okay.
So nuts and seeds feature quite a lot. So that's your 4 ingredients to a healthy plate. That fat has a bad reputation because we think fat makes us fat,
Sure.
but actually, fat. Again, it's really important. So our cells are each single cell that we have has a fatty layer around it, and it helps keep it soft and supple. So it's great for the body. Lots of hormones are made from fat as well.
Yeah. So does
So
that
good
mean
fat.
you're thinking about that for maybe menopausal women?
Exactly.
That
And
that's
I
really
wonder
important.
if, this is one of my theories, but I wonder if the reason that a lot of us are having trouble with menopause more than we remember from historically. Yes, we're
Yeah.
talking about it more, which is good. But you and I will have grown up in the low fat era.
Yes.
So is it a lag from that we weren't eating enough healthy fats because all fat was bad? And we reduced every fat that we had. Is that part of the problem?
I'm
Maybe.
thinking was Ireland behind England because I'm thinking of my upbringing, the full fat butter, the full fat
Great.
milk.
Cool.
So actually we would have had all the fats. It would have
Good.
been in my 20s. It was all about slim and clubs.
Slimming
And
world.
you've
And
got
do
to
you
lose
remember,
weight
and that's
cut
what I
fat.
mean. Kind of in our
Okay.
20s. That's that is, you are still, as a woman, and men are from it, but as a woman, you are still forming, you are still, your cycle is becoming balanced up until your early 20s. So you're still in those formative years for our hormonal balancing. So I do wonder if that's part of this kind of, a bit of a lag from that, kind of like a sort of feedback from that. So that's your 4 things.
Wow. So Wendy, let's pause it. That's
Okay.
a very interesting theory.
The theory?
I was only because I was at my business first meeting this morning and I was talking to somebody who was really struggling and with the menopause and the symptoms that they're having. And I've definitely seen a lot more of that. And that's very interesting when we look at our diet and think, hang on a minute, is there something that we're cutting out that we actually should be having?
Yeah.
Wendy, when I look at those 4 things, like a good student here, I've written them down.
Well done.
Do bonus points, okay? Protein, colour, fibre, fat. If you were to describe to me what a meal would look like, let's say dinner, which incorporates all 4 of those, what are we talking about? Chicken and mash? What are we talking about in veg that would incorporate all of those?
Oh, come on. So we can do that, or we can do it from a snack as well. So we could do a snack and kind of make that healthy because that's kind of the first place to start. And I'll do the veg after. So this is an example that I use quite a lot when I'm doing workshops. I think it really kind of helps you break it down into okay, that makes it real. Because it's I think most people can generally, a lot of people can build a balanced plate of food. They go like, oh, I know, like salmon and veg stir fry is going to be a healthy meal.
Yeah.
But that's not where you struggle necessarily. It's the rest of the meals. Bear in mind, if we're doing this 80-40, and if we're eating 3 to 4 times a day, 80-20 even, my math is not good.
That's okay.
So let's imagine that mid-afternoon, what would you, if you were having a bit of a, like we're mid-afternoon now, let's say you kind of finish this and you're getting a bit of an energy slump. What would you go to, or what do people tend to go to to give you a bit more energy?
It depends. For me personally, if I know I need energy, I might slice up a banana and have it on a slice of wholemeal toast.
Okay, cool.
If I know that I specifically need energy later on, if I know I'm having a sugar craving, this is where I'll hold my hands up. I might have a sugar fix. Do you know what I mean? And even though I know I'm very aware that this is a sugar fix and this is da da da, but for me mentally, I don't get the negative effect. So what I do is I make sure that I balance it out where I have healthy food in my day. I think I probably do the 80-20 rule in my day, where 80% I'm eating healthy and then I might have a bar of chocolate or something like that.
Okay, so if we're having that bar of chocolate or biscuits on their own, what happens is you're taking it for energy, but very quickly, because we could be here all day talking about that. What happens is your body converts that into glucose, which is your preferred source of energy, quickly. That's good. Your body knows that. It knows that having even a piece of fruit, which is healthy, it knows that it will convert that very quickly to that energy source that you need. However, the negative of that isn't the problem. We talk about glucose spikes, the glucose goddess, people talk about that all the time. They're very aware of that. However, the issue isn't with the spike. Your glucose should rise. It shouldn't spike, but it should rise after you've eaten. The issue is that your body will release insulin in response to that excess glucose. But because you get it in such a quick hit, your body doesn't release insulin in a balanced way. It releases lots of insulin, which takes the glucose from your system and puts it away to somewhere safe. That's fine, but it does it too well and you get an energy drop. This is the problem.
Yeah.
It's the drop, because then what happens is you eat something sweet, you get that energy rush, and I mean something sweet. It could be a Greg's pasty, because that will convert very quickly. A white bread. It's not just sweet things. You get the drop, and then you're back where you started, or possibly in a worse position because you've got no glucose free. So then you have some more. So even if you're having what you perceive to be something fairly healthy, like a piece of bread with some banana on there, you still don't have all the ingredients that I said.
Okay.
So we can use that as an example. So we could do biscuits, or we could use your bread. But I'm going to use that one.
Have I lost Wendy points there?
You've not gained any yet, but you're going to. You're going to learn, and you're going to lose.
I'm learning. This is all an education.
You're learning. So let's take that. And I love this, because actually I often use biscuits as an example, but everyone knows biscuits aren't particularly healthy. So let's say that you've gone, right, I'm going to, Wendy's on my shoulder and I'm going to have a healthy snack. Let's call it a snack.
Okay.
And it's there gobbing off as she does.
Yes, yeah.
And I have my wholemeal bread and my sliced banana. I toast it and I have my sliced banana, and that's good. So what was the first thing? I'm going to test you now. What was the first thing on the list of 4 healthy ingredients? What do you need to have on your plate?
Protein.
And your face said it all, Sheila. There's no protein in that, is there?
Oh, have I lost a star as well now?
Oh, well, we're going to get stars, because it's not about losing, we're going to get them. How do we put protein into that meal to make that snack something balanced for our body? So it's going to fuel our body, keep us full for longer, satisfy us. What could we add?
How about banana with walnuts on top?
Yeah, absolutely. So walnuts would do it. Walnuts would. Peanut. I would go peanut butter. So peanut butter would do it as well. But walnuts is a perfect one. So you can. I know everyone goes. Can I have peanut butter?
Wendy, this is a game changer. Banana and peanut butter sounds lovely.
It sounds lovely, doesn't it? So lovely piece of toast with some banana, some peanut butter, and some banana on there.
And that's your fat as well. Wouldn't that be your fat as well? The peanut butter.
Would be exactly. We haven't even got there, and you're catching up. You are. Yeah, it would be your fat as well. It would be. Yeah, there's your bonus.
Do you know what? I'm feeling smug now. Do you know what? I almost feel like I know it all now.
You're a nutritionist in disguise.
Believe me, I don't. Do you know what I really love? And I'm so aware that this is happening, that I am your student. I'm like the guinea pig. I've turned into a guinea pig, but for the sake of the greater good, which this is helping me too, I don't mind. I really don't mind. Okay, so very good. So we've got the peanut butter. So we're taking the fat box. We're taking then the protein, fiber in the
Well, the
nut.
second one was colour, wasn't it?
Yes, colour.
So you've got your banana, haven't you?
I
But if you
do.
wanted Wendy bonus points, what else could we add to that?
So we want to add colour. So it's going to be a fruit or a veg on top of that banana. So the banana isn't sufficient enough as a
Oh no, it
fruit.
is. You've got one colour, that's fine. But you want you like you kind of teacher's pet. What else would we add?
Okay, here we go. She's making me think. I wouldn't mind. I've got clients all evening. My God. Okay. Right. So colour and so okay. I was thinking tomato. Like no
That
pepper.
doesn't go, does it? But how about some blueberries?
Oh, I like blueberries.
And me. And blue. So the blue purple is one of the hardest colours. It's the fewest amount of fruits and vegetables with the purple and blue. So that's a really nice tick off that you can go, I've had my purple today because I've had my blueberries.
Wow. Banana, peanut butter, blueberries. Do you know what? I'm glad I've eaten before this podcast. Because the clients will be waiting outside the house. I'll be too
And I'll
busy.
be like, I'm just having a
I'm just
Scooby
going up
snack.
to the shop to get some peanut butter because I didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
That's amazing, Wendy. And do you know what's really lovely? I mean, it's amazing how quickly it's annoyed me how quickly the time has gone
I
because I
know.
really could just chat to you about this for ages. But what's really lovely is that practical advice, Wendy. Thank you because like I've gained from this. We have to chat if people benefit from this, happy days. But I've really benefited from this. So
Oh, that's good.
thank you so much, Wendy, for that. And having fun with it. It's just so,
Yeah.
but like, even though I'm messing with the inner
No,
child and
but
stuff, but it is important, isn't
and it
it?
makes it real, doesn't it? And this is the whole point. It makes it real. And just to do the last one, the
Yeah.
fibre, you've got that from everything. You've got it from your bananas, from your blueberries, from your whole grain, and from your nuts. So you have now got ticked all four, and you're eating a bigger meal, but you're fueling your body correctly, and you won't be hungry later.
So I'm going to have to test this.
Yeah,
I'm
test
going to
it.
have to test this. Because I mentioned about like people listen to this podcast. It's worth having to listen to the one that I did with Alison as well, Alison Taylor, because we spoke very much about the media and how the media brainwashes us and sugar addiction and stuff like that. So it's lovely, Wendy, because we've touched on different stuff that I would have touched on with Alison, which was exactly what I wanted. So thank you so much.
Good.
So I've just put that out there that people have enjoyed this podcast. They'll enjoy the one with Alison as
Yes.
well because you're getting it from all different angles. Wendy, how can people find you if they think, right, Wendy woman,
She's
she
the one for
knows it.
me.
She's the
Yeah.
one for me. How do they
Thank
find
you.
you?
So I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram as Hillstart Nutrition. So easy to remember. And my website is hillstart.me.uk. So I'm super easy to find. Keep it simple. Hillstart. It's a bit of a play on the surname Hill. So there you go.
Great. And it doesn't have to be an uphill battle.
It's not an uphill battle. There you go.
No.
See, new tagline.
There you go, a new tagline, folks. Wendy, that was fantastic. I mean, no doubt Ben will put it in the write up in the website, how to contact you, stuff like that.
Ben knows me well as well, so he knows all the rules. He's there.
He does. He does. We're both super fans of Ben. Ben was a guest on my podcast recently, actually,
Oh,
as well.
brilliant.
So you'll
I'll
have to have a listen to that, Wendy.
Listen to that one.
He did very well. Of course, I have to say that because he's going to edit this podcast.
Exactly, yeah.
So, folks, if any of you then wanted to share this podcast, so we're chatting here, it'll be on my YouTube channel. It'll go out the end of February 2026. Wow, how did that happen? But look, I think the main thing I hope that we've emphasised is how important our bodies are, and whatever shite you've been through in your life, mentally or physically, you are so worth it. And it is about, education, take responsibility and owning your own body, folks, and do what suits you. Do you know what? I'm still going to have me bars of chocolate. I just don't have as many as I used to have, to be fair. But, you know, like it is a learning experience. So, Wendy, thank you so much for your time. It's been so
Oh,
helpful.
thank you for having me on. Honestly, I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're a star. And no doubt we'll see you again at some random event, probably on the dance floor.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Wendy. Take care.
Sheila.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Counsellor Convos with Sheila McMahon. If you've enjoyed this episode, consider checking out her YouTube channel or pop on her website, mindmanagementforyou.com.